let's review a new album. Ariana Grande, Sweetener. Ariana Grande is an American singer, came to attention as a child actor on some Nickelodeon series and successfully transitioned from teen idol to pop star and has released 3 very successful albums. Sweetener is her 4th full-length studio album. In May last year, Grande was touring to promote her last album, Dangerous Woman. Unfortunately, in Manchester, there was a terrorist attack at her concert which killed 28 people and had a significant emotional impact on Ariana Grande, and she explores some of this in Sweetener. Sweetener is fully backed by Grande's label, and they have enlisted high-level producers to help shape the sound of Sweetener. Most notably, Pharrell Williams produces 7 of the 15 tracks here and has solo writing credits for tracks like Successful. Pharrell isn't doing anything too out of his comfort zone here. They're all classic Pharrell beats, very like tinny drums, funky beats, and they are good, but we've sort of heard this from Pharrell. For instance, The Light Is Coming, featuring Nicki Minaj, is a very standard funk-inspired Pharrell beat. There are very squeaky synths on the track and a big emphasis on the drums on the 2nd and 4th beat of the bars. I like this song. Feels like a less good version of Bed from Nicki Minaj's album when Grande and Nicki Minaj worked together before. The Light Is Coming is a bit inferior to Bed, but it's still a pretty decent song. I think the hook is a bit wordy, but it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent pop trap. There's quite a lot of trap influence on Sweetener, as trap is the dominant sound in rap music at the moment. It's very trendy for pop artists to experiment with trap. If you're going to do a pop album with trap beats, you can't get many people better than having Pharrell Williams producing a large majority of this album. Elsewhere, we've got production from Max Martin and Ilsa. They produced No Tears Left to Cry, the lead single from Sweetener. This track was very successful on the UK singles chart and peaked at number 2. No Tears Left to Cry was released prior to Sweetener. It comes straight after the track Breathing, which addresses some of the anxiety that Ariana Grande feels, potentially to do with the Manchester attack and how that's affected her. No Tears Left to Cry comes immediately after this track, where Grande expresses some doubts about herself and makes No Tears Left to Cry feel like an anthem about overcoming adversity and anxiety. These 2 tracks work very nicely placed next to each other in the track listing. There's a good example of pacing on the album so far. Max Martin and Ilya produced No Tears Left to Cry. Max Martin is extremely successful. Max Martin's success on the American singles chart is second only to the Beatles. He's written some huge pop songs going as far back as Hit Me Baby One More Time and I Want It That Way, to more recent hits like I Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd. No Tears Left to Cry is another strong hit from Max Martin. God Is a Woman is also produced and written by Ilya, Max Martin, along with others, including Grande herself. It peaked at number 4 in the UK charts. It's a bit more somber than God Is a Woman. These are the tracks that I personally think Ariana Grande is weaker on. There's a lot of vocal gymnastics she does, and it doesn't really contribute to the feel of the song. I think the song's quite mediocre. God Is a Woman is quite unimaginative pop trap. It's got the rolling hi-hats you hear on trap songs and the heavy bass, but there's not really much to this. It's very slow, and even though Grande sort of half raps some of the verses on here, it's not particularly exciting either. I think the lyrics are quite weak. Overall, it's quite a poor single in my opinion, even though it has done successfully. Borderline featuring Missy Elliott is another Pharrell production. Very standard Pharrell beat here. It starts off with Pharrell hitting the same note 4 times to start the song, and then the rest of the instrumental going in. You've heard this on several Pharrell tracks, like bum, 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 and that's how the song starts. It's quite a lazy beat here from Pharrell. Missy Elliott sightings are quite rare these days, so it's always nice to get an appearance from Missy Elliott. Pharrell and Missy Elliott, both from Virginia in America, so they've got previous history of working together. They're in the same sort of crew as like Timbaland and them, so they've all got history, those guys. Pete Davidson is a fairly half-baked idea towards the second half of this album. Overall, Sweetener lags in the second half. The first few songs are quite interesting, they grip you, but by the end, you've heard the ideas repeated quite often by Grande. And this album it's okay, but it's nothing really too special. There's quite a lot of generic beats here. I can see a few of these singles doing alright, because Grande is a big name now, and it's quite difficult for her to fail on the singles chart. Overall, for Ariana Grande Sweetener, I'm giving it 5 out of 10.